Okay, guys, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's a follow-up video. I did a really in-depth, kind of like beginner guide, and I never really got to get into full detail about a lot of things, and that's because it wound up being an hour and 15 minutes. Today, I'm trying to do shorter, briefer videos, and I want to jump into it. I want to move at a real fast pace, but I do want to get a little more detail, a little more information for you guys. So, we'll start with stats, and of course, if you're playing the build, you know, like our strength is number one. It's always going to be number one. If you have, spec'd it correctly in the tree, it's giving you 30% crit. You're going to be getting 6% of it from Divine Strength. You're going to be getting 6%. That's in the Paladin protection tree. You're getting 6% of your strength as hit, which is huge. Okay. You're getting it as flat damage from your legendary RE from the Consecrated Strikes. And you're getting a ton of attack power. Of course, we're taking mental quickness, and so that attack power is also giving us spell power. So you'll never beat strength. It'll always be number one. When we break into secondary stats, the number one I want to talk about is hit. If you can't hit, you can't crit. But I think people may find some value in this. I don't go to full cap. And so what I do is, like right now, I'm at 6.8% chance to hit. But if you look at my damage profile, like say Judgment of Righteous, no misses. Hammer of Wrath, okay, I had two misses in about 375 swings. It's a 0.5%. The reason is because I consider myself soft capped, and what I mean by that is because strength gives me so much. I'm gonna have to kill this mob. Okay. I love this. I really want to record this video over here by Uther. The OG Paladin from back in Warcraft 3. So I wanted to record here. I'm gonna have to deal with the mob. So I appreciate if you guys are patient. So I'm soft capped when I have my combat buffs going off. All right. For one thing, I don't have all my buffs on right now, so I'll put on my blessings and let's see, Strength of Earth Totem. Okay, that's going to bump my hit. So I'm sitting at like 7.6. Now, when Crusader 1 and Crusader 2 strike, Crusader proc, and my Consecrated Strength is up, I hit over 1,000 strength. That's 6% chance to hit. I'm over the top. Or I'm sorry, 60 flat, and that becomes 6% chance to hit. And so I'm well over hit cap when that's going on. Now, I can't guarantee it, and that's what you'll see here. There are windows. Very rarely, there are windows where I can miss. As a Consecrated Strike build, just so you know, like we need to get to, we want to be at 9% chance to crit or chance to hit, and we're focused on like all these abilities are gonna go off melee hit. All right, so we don't have to worry about hitting the 16 for spell hit. Okay, we're totally good with 9, and like I said, from the damage profile. I'm not missing on my spells. That's Exorcism, Seal of Righteous, not missing. Heart of the Crusade, not going to miss. Hammer Righteous, I think I have 0.3. And like I say, these are the windows in between my combat buffs when it's dropped off. If I forget to put down my Strength of Earth Totem or it gets killed, then okay, all of a sudden I have like a 1%, 2% chance to hit temporarily. Assuming I don't have some of the other buffs. Like Strength of Earth wouldn't be a drop in the bucket if Crusader 1 and Crusader 2 or Crusader 1 and my Legendary were off. It wouldn't even matter that I dropped Strength of Earth. But that's what happens. I wound up having small windows. I think I'm taking that to the bank. I think because I have to invest less in hit than a lot of other players. I had somebody ask me in raid the other night. They were heavily invested in hit. And they were a little frustrated that I was doing more damage. They had looked at my gear and they whispered to me. They said, "You don't have how much hit are you hit capped?" And I was like, "Well, no, I'm soft hit capped, But that gives me a lot of flexibility, not having to push. So there are things that I could do. So I could drop Heart of Wormthalac for say Drake Fang's Talisman, or I could for Nefarian's Tear. But I think, from the numbers I've tested, that's DPS loss for me. So you don't have to hit the hit cap. You're shooting for 9%. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there with your combat buffs. If you're playing the way that I do, you have Crusade 1, even just Crusade 1 and your Consecrated Ground, or Consecrated Strength from Consecrated Strikes. So it's going to push you up. Now, I will be fixing this. I don't like to, even if it's rare, I don't like to miss. If I can find a good solution, and I have the ring off of Nefarian. Let's see. The quest of the Onyxia. So Master Dragon Slayer ring. It's going to give me 12 hit. Okay, and so that's what I'm going to use. But it's really because I know that I want to drop my chest and get the AQ40 chest. It's a lot more crit. And when that happens, I'm losing 10 hit. So that ring will be plus 12 hit now. And in the future, I'm going to lose 10. So it'll still leave me 2 hit above what I have now. I think that's a really good solution, even though I like Ring of Trinity Force more than the Nefarian quest ring. But that's it. That's how I would play the hit, and that you're going to get good advantage from that. Crit, there's really like 5 kinds of crit, and it's going to affect different abilities. So, for example, Exorcism here. Exorcism is going to crit based off of your spell crit chance. Okay. Now, Hammer of Wrath is going to go off your melee crit chance. All right. And then, so there's melee crit, there's spell crit, there is global crit. Let's see. So, for example, like my Malfurion Signet Ring, it gives me 14 crit chance. That's going to be global, right? That's going to affect melee, and that's going to affect spells. And then there's 2 other modifiers. One would be like global critical modifiers, and that would be something like Crusade in the Retribution tree. Okay, all your holy and physical abilities. If you take 3 points, you get 3% increased critical strike. All right, and that's only to physical and holy. And it's like a global, and then so that's crit 4, and then crit 5 is going to be spell specific, something like Sanctified Wrath, where with 2 points you'll get 30% increased crit. And so you have to know that when you're looking at it. You see Hammer Wrath here, it's 77%. Well, that's if you take away 30 from this talent, okay, my actual melee crit should be right at 47, and you'll see that like with my auto attacks, it's 43. It's the numbers brought down slightly because I have an offhand that misses some. Okay, or the same thing like with Hammer Wrath. It's close to the same, right? Melee. Spell crit for Judgment. Judgment's going to go off now. Seal of Command goes off melee crit. The Seal of Judgment goes off spell crit. So here's the price we pay for recording over here, but I like it. But yeah, Seal of Righteous is going to spell off spell crit, or it's going to go off spell crit. You can see that I hit like 89.5% chance to crit. Now that's 30% is spell specific, coming off of Fanaticism. 9% is coming from my REs. I take the RE Fanaticism, so that's 39%. And you take that away, and you're left with about 50%. I'm at about 50% spell crit. You should see that here. 59 on my Exorcism. So they're both getting scaled off spell crit. It's just that Judgment of Righteous has extra REs and extra talents in the passive. It's bringing it up to the 90%. Heart of the Crusader, again, it's spell and it's scaled off of my seal. It's based on my seal. Flame Tongue is going to be melee. Hammer of the Righteous is going to be melee. Hand of Reckoning is going to be spell. And Consecrated Ground doesn't crit. Blinding Light and Flame Lash are going to be based on spell. All right, so it's something to think about. There's 5 kinds of crit. Because of Righteous Vengeance, just pretty much generic crit is always going to be once you're hit capped or soft capped like I am. This is going to be very, very strong to take crit. Now, I will say, looking forward, like scaling, once you're at about 50% crit, you don't get 1%. Like assuming your ability procs Righteous Vengeance, when you get your first point of crit, it's going to be 1.45% increased damage to your overall damage. By the time you're at 50, it's closer to like 0.8, 0.9. By the time you get to 99% crit and you go that last point, you're only getting about 0.6 advantage. And so long term, it's really fun to stack tons of crit, but there's a point where, mathematically, there's a point where we start stepping away. When there is a point when Holy Power here, 2% global holy damage would be better than Crusade, because Crusade's going to give you 1% global and it's going to give you 1% crit. Okay. And so once you're up there, you know, at 80%, 70% crit, holy power actually, it's not as fun to not always crit, but long fight wise, like statistically speaking, you'll outscale with a flat holy ability. I had to test an offhand because of that, because it gives 6% flat, but it doesn't scale enough of our abilities. We have too much melee tag on our abilities. I can't recommend you going offhand. After that, I like intellect. I like it because of mental dexterity. I like it because it gives me spell crit. It's going to vary for every person and how you're playing. With the new 3-piece bonus, intellect is going to be giving you the 3-piece from AQ40. You're going to be getting melee crit from intellect, and it's going to make it even stronger. So I do hold intellect quite high. Agility is going to give you melee crit, and it's going to give you armor on top of 1 attack power. I got to value it higher than attack power, but it's I don't consider it nearly as good as intellect. It's certainly not as good as just raw crit. Then, so attack power is really strong. Attack power is going to be better than spell power, just 1-to-1. Okay. A lot of times though, like a weapon or something, they'll give you way more spell power than they give you attack power, and so that's something you're gonna have to weigh out. You probably want like at least 1.5 times above 1.5 times the amount of attack power. That's how much spell power you'd want to beat a similar weapon. Then expertise, I'm in the same boat. You know, like some of our abilities are spells. They're not worried about being dodged or parried. Our judgments and our seals can't be dodged. They can't be parried. So that actually diminishes the value of expertise. I am rocking right now because of my boots. I'm actually quite low. I used to eat expertise food. I don't feel like there's value there for me. I'm not a tank where I have to worry about missing a taunt or something. And so, you know, my expertise is 3 of 3 at the moment. And I very, very rarely am dodged. Okay. Like I said, my big damage ability, I'm not going to be dodged. Okay. I'm going to be attacking the opponent from behind. So I'm not even going to be worried about parry at all. So I wound up with expertise quite low on the list. I would like it higher than what I currently have, but it's not enough of a damage decrease for me to go out and change my gear. We're transitioning now to AQ40 gear that has a lot more expertise on it natively, and so the problem will fix itself. You know, if I thought that this was a 2, 3, 5% damage loss by not having more expertise, then yes, I would prioritize it. And something like my Crusade enchant could be swapped out for expertise. But the testing I've done and the kind of like theory crafting that I've done, it's stronger to have 2% global damage than it is for me to worry about getting my expertise up at the moment. But the expertise already could fill in. AQ40 is going to help us out with a lot more expertise, and it's one of the very lower stats that I would look at. Beyond that, stamina. I like stamina. I like spirit. I like armor. But I don't like them, you know, anywhere close to like raw attack power or even like expertise I want over my spirit and stamina at the moment, because I'm not going to see a damage increase from stamina, right? Now, that's one of the cool things about Ascension is you can scale anything. Like even like say armor. I don't value armor very much at all. I like it if I can get it. If I can get it for free. I think Bountiful Gifts is an awesome way to get a bunch of free armor, because it's giving me a stat that's damage dealing. And so, hey, I like the armor. But you could go armor to the teeth and stack, 20,000 armor and get a huge damage boost if you can make it work. I haven't figured out a way to do that, but that's what's cool about Ascension, right? Is the cool thing with Ascension is that if you put the time in and you think about it, you're clever, you come up with some cool RE combination, you've got some cool passive points, you will be able to make use of stuff that other people never even thought about. Maybe there's some kind of spirit damage dealer out there that I'm not aware of. I know it can help boost crit, but I I'm not gonna ramble. I said I want to keep the video short. Hopefully, this is a much shorter video. But those are the stats. Those are what I think about them. Like I said, I don't focus on getting all the way to the hit cap without my combat buffs. I want to be hit cap when I have my combat buffs. That. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful. Maybe it helps you with your gearing. Maybe not stressing if you're not quite at hit cap. Go hit the target dummy and see what you're doing in combat. Be vigilant. Be looking. Try to notice, when do you get dodged? Do you see a dodge? When you're attacking the target dummy, you shouldn't see any parries. You're going to be attacking from behind, right? You can watch for your misses, and this is what I used to do. I used to watch for my misses in combat, and I would expect to see white misses, but not yellow misses. When I took flame tongue weapon, that changed. I would get misses on my flame tongue, okay, because it's working off my offhand, and it's much more likely to and when it's in my offhand, it's going to be much more likely to miss. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope it was helpful. Y'all have a good day.